Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Logan, and today I'm be going over some PSA 10 prices of cards I think could be pretty freaking good buys right now from all the sets that are going out of rotation minus 151 because 151 has already went ballistic. But some of these cards and PSA 10 prices still really haven't caught up to their all-time highs, and they could be really good potential buys because either they're hard to grade, they're fan favorite Pokemon, and like I said, they're going out of rotation within a couple of weeks. So, not much more supply, sealed supply is hitting the market. So, the bulk of all the supply is kind of out there already to where the pop reports aren't going to change too much. And they might even get worse because, sealed, it gets a lot, could get damaged in transit, could get lost, this and that and the third, fill in the blank. But we got a lot of cards to get into. So, let's just kind of start out with Scarlet and Violet base set. The Gardevoir EX is doing pretty freaking solid right now. It was like a $40 card. This is suppose a 6 month low is like $45. And now we're creeping up into the 60s. TCG player is 81.35. Look, I mean, that's really, really good. PSA 10, there's basically 6,510, 81.46 and a 9, so decently hard card to grade, especially for SIR. SIRs from the Scarlet and Violet era are easier to grade than the regular illustration rares. So the fact that there's more 9s than 10s is pretty surprising. But it's an $80 card on TCG player. But look at the last solds at PSA 10, only $230. Basically a 3x. Actually, not even a 3x. And at PSA 10, they're all 230, 230, 230, and then 233. So not even a 3x multiplier on the PSA 10 for the Gardevoir. Gardevoir is a popular enough Pokemon to where it does have some fanage to it. And at this the Gardevoir line tells a little story with the family and how they kind of get older as they go. Next up, the Drowsy. The OG manipulated buyout, whatever you want to call card. This is like a $10 card basically. And then it jumped all the way up to like $80, $90. It seemed like overnight. And then it dropped back down to like the 20s and 30s. And now TCG player we're at 45. But look at the PSA 10 prices. It still hasn't caught up to the 6 month high, much less the all-time high. I probably need to buy gold for this if I'm being honest with you. But the low was like 350, and now we are creeping back up though. If not, we got $600 last sell, and then you got 575, 625, and the reason for that, not only is a Gen 1 Pokemon Drowsy, but look at this pop report, guys. And a 10, there's 1652 in a 10. And a 9, there's 6508. And in an 8, there's 2096. So there's more 8s than there are 10s. That's the recipe for a card that is very hard to grade. That we're looking at mainly pack fresh cards, and they come out at 8 more than a 10 is kind of insane to think about. So that's the main reason why this card is the price point that it is, because it is so hard to grade. Next up, the Curlia. In a 10, there's 952. In a 9, there's 3650. And in an 8, there's 1358. So again, very tough card to grade. Only still under 1,000 of these in a PSA 10, which is pretty insane if you think about it for a modern day Pokemon card. Was trading like the high 200s, low 200s for a very long time, and then boom, just went off to the freaking moon. Last sold in a PSA 10, 610. There's $1,000 sale, no auction though. It's kind of, I don't know. We're gonna see 610, 900. Is there one more PSA 10 sell? And 439. So it's on the way up. Like I said, there's not very many of these hitting the market. I would probably be more with the $600 range, more than $1,000 range, obviously. But again, Curlia, really tough card to grade. Still under 1,010, which is insane. Same thing with the Ralts. Actually, even lower population. The Ralts, there's only 752 in a 10, 3909 or 3901 in a 9, and then 1823 in an 8. There's more than double 8s than there are 10s. That's a crazy number. Absolute insane number to think about. To where it's like, my goodness, man, that's really tough. It was trading about high threes, low fours for a very long time, and then boom, 561, 700, and 800. Wow. So I mean, we're looking at 561, 700, and $800 cards. So let's just say $600 card for the Curlia to be safe. 636, we'll say that. I mean, that's really, really good. Next up, we got the Riolu, another cute card. People really like Lucario and Riolu, the little evolution line. There's a Lucario in the background on this picture frame. At the Riolu broke everything in the room. And a 10, 940 in a 10, and a 9, 3667, and in an 8, there's 1492. Shout out Christopher Columbus, I guess. It's actually dropping down, or it dropped from its 6-month high. It was basically a $400 card, like 385, 390. Now last sold's 320. And can we get one more sell? We cannot. So $320 is the last sell. Still, there's not a lot of these. I mean, that's only a 10x multiplier for a Pokemon that is decently popular and very, very tough to grade. This could be a decent play right here, and it's still down from its all-time highs. Or for a 6-month high. I don't know the all-time highs, but 6-month high is still down from that. Next up, the Slowpoke. I think this could be a very, very good play right now. Look at this pop report. PSA 10, there's 803. And a 9, there's 3757. And in an 8, there's 1834. So more than double 8s than there are 10s. And basically, there's 317 7s as well. So it's almost half the pop report of the 10s are in 7s as well. I mean, that's insane. That's a really, really tough card to grade. And it's a Slowpoke, and this one cracks me up. It's so derpy looking. I absolutely love this card. The 6-month high was 475, and we might be creeping back up on that high. Last sold in a PSA 10. Can we even find one? 450 was the last sold in a PSA 10. So we're still down from its 6-month high, barely, but we're still down. I think this could be a pretty good buy right here. I mean, especially if you buy it at a percentage, I don't see anything wrong with that. Next up, the Greavard. This one is, wow. Look at this, guys. And a 10, there's only 345 of these in a 10, 16, 14, and a 9. So there's basically 5x in a 9 than there are 10s. And in an 8, there's 672. And in a 7, there's 139. So this one, obviously, Greavard's not the most popular Pokemon, but what's inside the card is kind of what makes it so popular. All its little toys that it has. It got a Gengar, got a Ghastly right here, and got a couple other Pokemon just kind of littered throughout the card. That kind of builds a little bit of hype for it. But again, 345 of these in a 10. That's like vintage era type pop reports right here. This is legit a vintage era pop report for only 345. Next up, the king of the illustration rares. We have the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. It's running right now. It is running right now for a pretty freaking good reason. 3878 and a 10. 12,114 and a 9. And base 5919 and an 8. So there's more 8s than there are 10s. And Shinji Kanda artwork. Magikarp with the Gyarados up here up top. If you guys didn't know, there is a Gyarados right here. Last on the PSA 10 is 3,300, 2809. That's pretty freaking low. I don't know if they caught up. What's today's date? March 26th. I don't know if they've caught up. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, 3,300. Last on the PSA 10. I think it definitely that's hard card to grade, and it's like the king of the illustration rares for the Scarlet and Violet era, to where it's like it's one of those Mount Rushmore cards for the whole entire era. So if you can get it at a good price, I don't see anything wrong with it. The long-term hold, like I said, the bulk of the cards are already out on the market. So the pop reports aren't going to be changing that much. Next up, we got the Sleepy Raichu. Again, another super hard card to grade. 1565 and a 10. 4317 and a 9. And 1729 and a 8. So more 8s than there are 10s. That's insane. That there's more 8s than 10s again, and we're still down from its 6-month high. It basically got up to $600, And now, last sold, I mean, 650 that just happened today, probably a couple hours ago. 550, and can we get one more $500? So we're looking at about a $550 card, we'll just say. I these all go out of rotate. I mean, and it's a Raichu as well, and people do love the sleepy Pokemon, and he has like little electric shocks coming through from his hands and its ears, so it's kind of a cute looking card. I mean, it's a $90 card on TCG Player. So it's basically a 5x, maybe a 6x for a card that has more 8s than 10s. Just think about it, guys. That's not the best multiplier for a card that's this hard to grade, and it's a Gen 1, and a lot of people do like Raichu. Next up, Mousehold. This one, the only reason is because the pop reports. I mean, people love the colors and everything. I'm not a Mousehold fan. There might be a lot of Mousehold fans out there. Shout out to you guys. But there's only 382 of these in a 10, 1403 in a 9, 830 in an 8. So there's more than double 8s than there are 10s. Again, an insanely hard card to grade. The high was 815, and it's kind of gone down, then went back up, and now we're down. So last sold in a PSA 10 is 530. So, and 525. So we're basically $300 down from its all-time high. Could be a good time to buy. And I mean, I'm not saying go crazy. I mean, obviously you really can't go crazy with only 382 in a 10. Like I said, another vintage-like pop report for Mousehold. Next up, Tyranitar. I think the most undervalued card in this Paldea Evolved. Raw is only $63. 1684 in a 10. And a 9, there's 46.29. And an 8, there's 22.41. So again, more 8s than there are 10s. Got up to basically $750. And now it's kind of dropping right now. I say that this chart, it was dropping. But that was yesterday. Today, or that was yesterday. $780 and an 8. 712. I mean, wow. Calm down. $780 in a 10. And then you got 712 and a 10. Is there one more sell? 620, 640. So we're looking probably at least high 6s, low 7s for this Tyranitar. I think it 100% deserves this price, if not even a little bit higher for how hard it is to grade. And it's Tyranitar, and it's an awesome artwork as well. Next up, we got the Fuecoco. Again, another vintage-like pop report. Only 685 in a 10, 1759 in a 9, 839 in an 8. And it has been kind of just trickling up and down. Seems like Fuecoco has kind of got a decent following, decent fan base. But last sold's in a 10. We're going to speed this up a little bit. I can talk for so long. It's kind of insane. 338 in a 10 and 300, 265, 300. So basically $300 card for the Fuecoco. That's only a 6X. I know it's Fuecoco, but it is a starter for the Gen 9 era. And it's only a 6X. That's kind of undervalued, in my opinion. Next up, the Merrill. Again, crazy pop report. 697 in a 10, 2030 in a 9, 1055 in an 8. We are down from its all-time high at 331. This last on the chart was 274. Last sold 340, so it did eclipse the all-time high. Then 275, so basically $300 card. So basically right at its all-time high. It's a cool artwork. A decent amount of Merrill fans out there. Could be a good buy. It is a 10x multiplier, but it is really tough to grade. No 7s. I just realized that. We got 8s and then 6s. Then we got Miss Magius. I'm sorry if I probably butchered the heck out of that. Not the most fan favorite popular Pokemon. I just really enjoy this artwork, so I wanted to throw it in here. And a 10, there's 630, and a 9, there's 1499, and an 8, there's 641. So again, more 8s than there are 10s. Looking at about a mid to low $200 card. Last sold is 240, 237, and 250. So basically $240, $250 card. Not too bad. The 10x multiplier, but I mean, only 630 of these in a 10. That's so crazy to think that modern Pokemon have less than 1,000 in 10s. Okay. Next up, we got the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. 12,456 in a 10. Then we got 26,830 in a 9 and over 10,000 in an 8. That's absolutely insane to think about. But it is going on a run right now. I kind of think if the raw price is over $110, if that's the raw price, I do kind of think it deserves it. It is a very tough card to grade. You're at 700, 680, 675, and 670. So basically, it's 675, 680, $700 card, right around in that general area. We're still under its 6 month high, barely. So it does have a little bit more room to grow. And usually when this happens, it does eclipse that all time high. This is kind of normal growth right here, where it hits the high, comes down, finds a little middle ground, finds a new floor, and then it goes back up, and it usually eclipses that all-time high. So this could be a $750, $800 card pretty easily, in my opinion. Next up, the Nine Tails. Absolutely stunning card. I love this card. I do own one of these. I'm not pushing it, but it is a very fantastic type card. 4,588 and a 10, 10,845 and a 9, and 3,687 and an 8. Tough card to grade, not the hardest when we're looking at the charts that we just been looking at. So not the hardest card to grade, but still a pretty tough card to grade. But very affordable in my opinion. 6 month high was over $300, about 335, 340, and then it bottomed out at like 200 almost. And it's rebounding right now. You got 270, 275, and that's about it. So basic $275 card. I think this card still has room to grow. It's an awesome card, awesome artwork, tough card to grade. Next up, we got the Cleffa Smooth card. Just a slick, clean looking card. It's simple, but just amazing at the same time. 2968 and a 10, 7182 and a 9, 2337 and an 8. 6 month high was based at $290, and it looks like we're kind of creeping back right up there. 275, 255, 245. So say $250 card. So it's not at 6 month high, but it is creeping back up on the way. Next up, Gloom. You got 2116 and a 10, 5543 and a 9, 2126 and an 8. So more 8s than there are 10s. Got all the way up to $320 basically. It really did shoot up there. Now we're looking at about 190. You got 190, 181, so $185-ish card right around that general area for the Gloom. Next up, the Pidgey. I love this card. It's so cute and derpy at the same time. Reminds me of the old school shooting game. I forgot what it's called. Let me know in the comment section down below what it's called. You got 1302 and a 10, 3050 and a 9, 992 and an 8. So not the hardest card to grade, but decently hard enough. But it is at its 6 month high right now. You got 180, 127, 160, 150. So $150, $160 card right around that general area for the Pidgey. Wow, this was an $80 card for. That's insane. It was under $100 for months for the Pidgey. Next up, the Scizor. Really enjoy this artwork right here. You got 1386 and a 10, 4155 and a 9, 2462 and an 8. So basically double the amount of 8s as there are 10s. So very, very hard card to grade. The 6 month high was $285 basically, and now we're the low 2s. What's the last sold? Oh my goodness. Last sold 225 and 282. 282 seems like a fair price for this card for how hard it is to grade. So, because I mean, it's awesome artwork and how hard it is to grade. I think that's a fair price. Next up, the Groudon. Awesome illustration rare. Another one of those Mount Rushmore illustration rares. It's so, so nice. Down from its 6 month high, it got up to like $635. Dropped all the way down to the mid 3s, and now we're running again. And it's basically at its 6 month high, right? 628, 628, then 470, 470. So it's basically gone up $150 in a day and a half. I mean, I 100% thinks this deserves this. You got 55.97 and 10, 83.25 and a 9. Not the hardest card to grade from the earliest Scarlet and Violet era, but this card is amazing. I 100% think that deserves that higher price value for it's $92 raw. So we're looking at like a 5 to 6x basically, maybe 7x at those higher price ranges. I think that deserves it 100%. Next up, the Altaria. So we saw this card kind of take off for a little bit. It's an awesome card. Pretty freaking hard to grade for an SIR. You got 1995 and a 10, 3431 and a 9. That's a pretty hard card, pretty hard special illustration rare to grade. Got all the way up to 350. and now we're down 280 to 295 and 277. So basically $280 card. So still down from its 6-month high. It's an awesome card to look at, and it's pretty hard to grade from SIR. Next up, the Roaring Moon. Again, this one's cheap, 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 cheap. 3808 in the 10, 5875 in the 9. Roaring Moon's my favorite variant when it comes to the Pokemon and the variants that they got, I guess. Only $180, $170 in a PSA 10 for a $37 card, $38 card. It's like under a 6x multiplier, which is not too bad for a multiplier wise, but it's an SIR. There's Pokemon littered throughout that. This card in person looks so much better than it does in person. The texture really does this card justice in person. Next up, Swablu. This is a derpy card. I just wanted to kind of throw it in there. It reminds me of like the old Disney credit scene with the birds on the telephone poles or the electrical poles. It reminds me of that for some odd reason. 718 and 10, 1073 and an 8. Basically a $100 card. Last sold in a PSA 10 is $90. So under $100 for the Swablu. Cute card, derpy card, cracks me up. He's just trying to blend in. Next up, the Yveltal. I really enjoy this card. I looks like I'm alone, but I really do enjoy this card. 2073 and a 10, 3058 and a 9. Not the hardest illustration rare to grade, but it is down pretty drastically from its all-time high. 220 was basically its high. Now we're at 140, 140, 140, 160. So $140 card basically. So down pretty good from its all-time high. Next up, the Snorlax ETB promo. So from the 151 ETB promo. Okay. The 151 ETB is over $600, guys. Crazy, crazy. You get this in that box. $20 card. 10,581 and 10. 17,527 and a 9. And it's been just kind of go up and down. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. It is kind of going up right now. Last sold is in a PSA 10. It's 237, 227. Can I get one more? I cannot. So 200, what is it? 227, $235 card basically. So we're at its 6-month high for the most part. Nothing too crazy, but I do think this is a decent card to spend a couple $100 on. It's a ETB promo from a $600 ETB. And then last on the list, the Pikachu promo 27. I forgot what this is from. Is this the Paldea Adventure Chest? Is that what this is from? If not, let me know. I'm blanking on this one. But it's Pikachu with the 3 Gen 9 starters. I'm honestly surprised this card hasn't pumped already. We're actually down. It was basically a $200 card in October. And now we're looking at 144, 160, 144, 157, 150. So basically $150 card. 7,749 in a 10, 8241 in a 9. So kind of a hard card to grade. Not the hardest card to grade, but it's a $150 card for a Pikachu promo and a PSA 10 with a Gen 9 starters on it. I feel like that's super, super slept on. But let me know in the comment section down below if you agree, if you disagree with me that these are good buying points, these are bad buying points, that I think these are going to go on a run here shortly when all these go out of rotation within a couple weeks. I mean, literally, I think it's like 3 weeks. So just kind of preparing for ourselves right now. I do think a lot of these are at really good buys and deserve the price points. But let me know what you guys think down below. I appreciate all the support and love as always. You guys have a great day. Peace.